congratulations on this brand new single. We've been playing it on our show now for about a week, and people have fallen in love with it, so congratulations.
That's awesome news, dude. I love that Aussies are getting a taste of it.
Now, mate, we were just talking off air, and we were talking a little bit about you growing up in Melbourne. Tell us a little bit about your journey, how you were born here but have ended up in the States as a musician.
So, little brother is my half-brother, actually. Mom married an Aussie when I was about 7 years old, and then the prodigal son was begat in Melbourne, and I finished university out there at Swinburne, and just decided that Melbourne was a wonderful place to have grown up, but that I wanted to come back to the bigger American family and sort of make my way in the world out here. And a few years later, after I'd been here doing my graphic design shit, my little brother he decided to go to Berklee College of Music out here in Boston. And after a few drunken nights on his summer break and us playing around with the guitars and recording phone memos, we were pretty stoked with what we'd been doing, so he just decided to drop out of Berklee and make the full-time jump to Long Beach to living with me and making music all the time.
Well, mate, like I said, this song that you've got out now, Let's Go, has become a song that's being requested on our station. So tell us a little bit about the beginnings of Let's Go. Where did the track first start for you guys?
Pretty much the way almost all of our stuff does, dude. It's like we usually just have a riff and flesh out the riff and other little doodads that go with it. What other riffs will go with it to make it a song with the chorus and a verse? Well, with that one, it just seemed like it was a song that only needed one riff, kind of like Seven Nation Army only has one riff. We're like, you know what, let's just try and see if we can make a song with just this riff and break it down a little bit in the verse. And then as we're fleshing it out a little bit more, little brother had the idea. He was thinking like, how like a conductor of symphonies is sort of telling people what to do with a stop-go kind of thing. And he thought that would be a really cool thing, especially for live. We weren't even really thinking about it recording at first. He's thinking, it'd be cool if you, Jake, when you're singing, are like, point at me when I'm playing guitar, stop, and I stop the riff, and then the drums keep going, and stop to the fucking bass guitars, then the guitar goes back on. So that was where the whole stop-go thing came from. And then from there, we're just like, it's pretty simple stuff. It's a song about fucking throwing caution to the wind and let's go. So the lyrics weren't exactly Shakespeare, as our bass player said the other night after a show at Viper Room. Not exactly Shakespeare writing going into that, but it's a simple song and that's all it needs. You don't want to over belabor some deep and meaningful shit that it doesn't need to have.
Definitely, and it's such a fun song. I was going to ask, how has it been going live? You just mentioned you did a show at Viper Room. How's the song been going live?
Dude, it's a great song to play live, especially with the theatrics of the stop-go thing. The one thing about it that's kind of strange is it's the shortest song we've ever played. I think when people are listening to music on Spotify or whatever and on their phones these days, unfortunately, it's almost like the shorter the song, the better. And we definitely didn't want to belabor the point of, overextending the song more than it needed to be. It was pretty much, it just flowed out at what it meant, at what it wanted to be, which is 2 minutes and 15 seconds. But when you play a song live for 2 minutes and 15 seconds, it's a bit like, wait, what? It's over already? But yeah, it's a lot of fun to do. It's high energy. Crowd definitely gets amongst it. We had a bunch of people raging at Viper Room the other night, so that was pretty much the first LA debut of that song. We'd played it on the road a little bit with our friends, Small Town Titans in the middle of the country, but yeah, it was the first time we've done it in LA, and yeah, got a great response.
Now tell us a little bit about the video clip. Of course, it was directed by Tony Facelli, and he's done an amazing job. Tell us about putting it together, because I believe it stars one of your really good friends, the Metallica.
Yeah, the Metallica, dude. So we've got a tour van that we try not to wear the gears out on too much by driving around LA when we're home not touring. We try and save it for just tour. But we were lovingly gifted this 2013 Hyundai Accent piece of crap hatchback, and we try not to take that thing out on the freeway too much because it's definitely a little on the rickety side, I'll say. But for getting us around Long Beach, it does the trick. And one night while drinking, Luke's like, we should make a fucking video in just the Metallica car. We'll hang up a 360 cam in the middle of the car, and we'll spin it around, have a few beers while we're driving around. Well, the driver shouldn't be having beers, but passengers having beers, we'll say. Have a few beers while we're driving around, and kind of have like a Wayne's World, Mirthmobile kind of vibe when they're rocking out to Bohemian Rhapsody. So that was sort of where it started. I thought that was a brilliant idea. But then, as it got into the storyboarding phase, I drew up a storyboard, and we put it to the music, make a little animatic. And when that happened, it was like, I mean, you want to flesh out ideas to the fullest extent, and I had him riding on the car, I had me hanging out the window, all this crazy shit. I'm like, well, we probably shouldn't do that practically. We've gotten away with pulling some pretty interesting illegal activities for videos before, but I don't want to test fate, and yeah, let's try and survive this one. So we talked to our friend Tony, who has the know how to do these things, and he found us this great studio in Long Beach with a massive green screen and this huge overhead light. I've never seen a light so big in my life. It was mental. Commissioned his talented ass to do it. He brought us in, and then we're just acting in the studio with the car completely still, but we had it jacked up by our local mechanic. Shout out to Arts Brake Service. Love you, Juan. He brought his son in and jacked the car up so that we could get the wheels actually spinning. But that was also funny because it's a fucking front wheel drive, so the back wheels weren't spinning. Had to do some little Photoshop special effects to make that happen. But yeah, it all came together. It was definitely a lot more labor intensive than me and Tony had ever anticipated as we sort of worked on it together. But, you know, labor of love, and 2 minutes and 15 seconds of movie magic was made.
Definitely. Now, with Let's Go getting out there and getting such a following of people, what's the next plans for the band? Have you got some shows coming up? Are you working on other new material? What's the plan?
Well, we've always got a massive catalog of material that we're just trying to catch up with in the recording process, and we've actually got a few songs that are already in the tank just waiting for the right release time. Next year comes springtime, I think the touring thing's going to fire up big time. But as far as our plan with our wonderful new guy on the team, Ed Bunker, I think the plan is that we're going to put out one more single early next year, probably January, and then try and get an EP together by spring, and then tour all of spring.
Awesome. Well, mate, we cannot wait for that new material, and an EP sounds absolutely awesome. And if you ever want to head back to your old home city, we would love to see you guys play in Melbourne as well.
Dude, I would love to. I just saw that Buck Cherry, who we've toured with, we're out there with Fozzy. I think it's like this month, right?
Yeah, well, you want to know a little bit of a surprise? They're actually on the same episode as what you're on this week. So we had Buck Cherry on yesterday.
How about that?
Yeah.
Well, did you ask Steve about how much he loves Of Limbo, dude? Probably not.
No.
Anyway, we toured with those guys. That was a great time, and he even adorned one of our Limbo shirts on stage a couple times. So we're very appreciative of those guys. They gave us a great little month and a half run last year. It was awesome.
Awesome. Well, mate, we are going to play Let's Go on our show again right now. So what would you like to say to all of the listeners out there before they take another listen to this great little track?
Well, most important thing you can do for any new band that you find, liking and commenting is one thing, but sharing is caring. If you got any of your fucking mates that are out there that like anything moderately like this kind of music, or even if they don't, fuck it, just send it to them anyway. Just whenever you hear a new song by any band, let alone our band, if you like that song, the best thing you can do for that band is share it with your mates and say, hey, fucking have a look at this one. Because that's the only way things grow nowadays. Otherwise, it's us just pissing in the wind.